Thank you for joining us today. We're with Voyage Care today. I've got Mandy and Julie with me. If you guys would like to introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, hi, I'm Mandy Smith. I'm the Qualifications and Development Manager for Voyage Care. So I manage all the apprenticeship contracts and qualifications for the company.
Brilliant. And Julie, yourself?
Hello, I'm Julie Henry. I'm an internal trainer for Voyage Care. I deliver training to our staff when and where needed.
Brilliant. So Mandy, take me on your journey with Voyage Care, because as I understand, you guys have year on year improved your apprenticeship programs. I'm sure it's quite a journey, especially in care, where logistically and operationally it can be quite challenging. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've kind of doubled in size, if not, well, in fact, quadrupled in size, I would say, the apprenticeship delivery in the last couple of years. We did used to deliver our apprenticeships internally. And then we made the strategic decision to outsource our apprenticeships, so predominantly for health and social care. That partnership is working really well. So that's kind of supporting our vision and our strategic direction of obviously growth for the company. So we're looking at growing our company quite dramatically, especially in the specialist services that we're delivering.
Brilliant. So why are apprenticeships so important to the business?
They're really important to obviously invest in our colleagues, grow your own, I suppose, you know, to support them with their learning journey, their career aspirations. You know, we've got many good news stories where we've had support workers have started on a level 2 qualification and they've progressed into service manager and done the level 5, so it's helping them progress in their learning journey and whatever career aspirations that they've got. Not necessarily into management, it could be a different specialism, so they're really important to develop their knowledge, skills and behaviours in you know, the specialisms that they're delivering.
Yeah, brilliant. And the main reason that I'm here today is because you partnered recently with Remit Training on a digital content creator program.
That's correct.
I believe, Julie, that's the one you're enrolled into.
That is.
So
yes.
I think from my perspective, it's quite interesting when you take the content creator apprenticeship and you apply it to a care sector. Typically when people might think care sector, they wouldn't automatically link a digital program to that. Mm-hmm. So what was the decision to decide to take on these 5 digital apprentices now, I suppose?
Well, Voyage Care, you know, need to evolve with the forever changing policy drivers, whether that be external or internal. We've just invested in a digital system called Nourish, which is where all the support plans are stored. So all our colleagues are going on this digital journey. But for the content creator, obviously we have our internal training colleagues, obviously Julie being one of those. And we were looking at, you know, being quite innovative with our training delivery. We know there's AI out there and that's big on everybody's agenda, and the content creator apprenticeship will support with that, and we're looking at making our training courses more interactive, more interesting, more invitable, I suppose. Would you say, Julie?
Yeah, it's just about looking at getting our staff engaged, so it's not just sitting in front of a PowerPoint and getting us reading it off, it's making it more interactive for them.
Yeah. And I understand you're fairly new to program, Julie. How have you found it so far? Have you had any learnings from day one, possibly?
Oh, yeah. I'm just coming into my 3rd month of it, so it has been quite a steep learning curve. Platforms. I'm of the age where I don't know much about platforms, so it's learning about the different platforms that are out there and demographics of people. But also simple things such as Excel spreadsheets and Google Sheets as well. I've worked with them, but I've never used them to their full potential. So for me, it's learning everything that you can do for them. It's a good steep learning curve, and yeah, it's been great up to now.
And how, you know, from your perspective, Mandy, how important is it that you've got these experts that are helping build this content for the rest of the business on this new platform that you've decided to invest in?
Yeah, it's very important, really. You know, it's nice that we've got 5 trainers that are all doing it together. You know, you can all collaborate with each other, you know, share ideas and things like that. But it's obviously, you know, then Julie and the others can then obviously share their experience with the rest of the training team, because it's quite a large team, isn't it? What we've got, 30, 40 internal trainers, probably branch trainers as well. So obviously can share experience and what they've learned, so they can kind of incorporate it into their training as well.
So in the decision of, you mentioned the health and social care apprenticeships and the digital ones, how do you plan out the correct apprenticeships for the business? As you mentioned, you've grown quite rapidly, quadrupled in size. How do you make sure you've got the right programs to fit the business's needs and growth for the next 5 years?
We work very closely with obviously the training provider that deliver the health and social care apprenticeships, and it's about the right person being on the right programme really. So obviously we're in the process of developing like pathways as well, so it's quite clear what our colleagues need to go on, but it's about completing that skills assessment right at the beginning to recognise what their prior knowledge is, and like I said, getting the right people on the right programme. But it's working with our operational team, what are their needs out there, and we're working quite closely with open days and things like that to promote the apprenticeships, and 'cause not everybody is aware of what an apprenticeship is, and I think there's still the stigma there that it's just for young people, when obviously it's for all ages. So it's just working with our operational team and letting them know what an apprenticeship is and the benefits of it really.
Yeah, absolutely. And Julie, I'm sure this was a concern when you heard the word apprenticeship. What did that mean to you at first? Do you think you're going to be doing something completely not digital? What was the kind of thought behind it?
Well, I didn't really have a thought about what it would be. I've looked at apprenticeships before. I've got children that have gone through apprenticeships, and I know that they're in depth, they're for a long period of time, and it's just sort of considering how much work goes into them. And I think the big worry was, how can I fit it into my day-to-day life and my working life as well? So far it's getting there. Been a bit hectic to start off with, but yeah, planning into it and getting into it, so it's going all right at the moment.
Yeah, brilliant. And from your perspective, Mandy, being in care, obviously you've got a finite number of hours during the day. How do you manage that time that they are getting the extra learning that they need? That 20% off their job is always a challenge for employers. How do you manage that within the care sector?
The service managers obviously that manage those services where they've got apprenticeships are very obviously supportive with the apprenticeships, and they just manage that time effectively. Obviously they incorporate that into the rota system, and there's a lot when you're actually on duty or doing your job role that you're gaining new knowledge all the time, especially in health and social care. There's so many changes, or there might be a person that we support that's coming in with a different need that nobody's aware of, and it kind of all incorporates into that. That we do offer a lot of training for our colleagues. There's a lot of e-learning training, a lot of face-to-face training, so it kind of naturally embeds into the apprenticeship. But I do know that the service managers are very supportive, and they kind of incorporate that when they're doing the, like I said, the rota system. So it's working well.
And would you say that's one of the key pillars to why you guys have been recognised, the top 100 apprenticeship providers? Do you think that's helped kind of that you've got the whole business on board and saying, well, actually we need to support this? There's a bigger reason why we're incorporating this training.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've got some really good news stories, from colleagues that have completed apprenticeships or currently completing apprenticeships, what they've got out of this qualification. Like I said, we've got had many people that have progressed through the different levels and progressed through their career aspirations with that. But yeah, we can see the difference in the positive impact that it's making on our colleagues, but also it all comes down to the people that we're supporting. Obviously to have a skilled workforce is obviously so much better, and they can support the people that they're supporting to the best of their ability, and obviously with the skills that they're learning along the way.
Yeah, brilliant. And Julie, from your perspective, are you feeling that support? Did you feel that support from day one? What was the onboarding process like?
The onboarding process was really easy, and I had a couple of people that helped me through that, and it was so simple to complete and get everything on board. I've got a great tutor at the moment, Renu, who has been very supportive. Had a meeting with her on Wednesday, and there was something that I just couldn't get quite in my head, and talked it through with her, and she's pointed me in the right direction. So I know the support's there. And from my team as well, they're there to help. We have a very close knit, so they tend to fit things in and make sure I've got enough time. And it is just a case of we do help each other as well. So it's really great. It really is great.
Yeah. I think I want to go back a little bit to what you said earlier, Mandy, about kind of the AI revolution and making sure you guys are staying ahead with digital. We know digital apprenticeships have had a massive uptick in recent years just because people want to be ahead of the curve, people want to increase their data usage within businesses. And again, because everyone's throwing around the AI buzzword and kind of the impact that's going to have on businesses in the next couple of years. What was your ambition when you thought, you possibly spoke to Matt and said, I want to incorporate content creators? What was that journey like from, okay, this is going to be the best program for you? Because I'm sure you've got many digital programs you can incorporate into the business. Why now is a content creator one so important, do you feel?
I think the why now is obviously the digital journey that everybody is going on within Voyage Care. And I think the content creator one stood out because of the criteria within the qualification. And it kind of fit with, it kind of fit with what we were looking for, because we were looking at revising the training materials anyway, and we were kind of looking at how we can make it more interesting, weren't we, and make it more interactive and things like that. And that just seemed to just fit the bill, really. Yeah. Yeah.
And Julie, obviously you'll be creating the content and helping train the rest of the business. How are you hoping the learnings from the program will make sure that you are creating the very best stuff that will support everyone within the network?
I think what we're going to learn from the content creator is how to use the platforms and all the technology in the right way. Up until now, it's a case of you stumble on and you see what you try and figure it out. But now we're actually learning how to use it properly, so we can incorporate that in to make the training more interesting, make it more interactive, and get the staff more engaged with that. So it's a good learning curve so that we're doing things in the right way and we're making the best use of what we're learning as well.
I think it's the confidence side of things as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Actually approaching this digital world and this AI and things like that. 'Cause it's a minefield, isn't it? Can be.
Yeah, and some of them, it's like when we first got introduced to AI and things, you sort of look at it and think, I have no idea what I'm doing. It's like, wow, mind blowing. But I think as I go through this journey on the apprenticeship, it's I'm going to have the tools and it's not going to be so scary. It's going to be, yes, I can do this and I can help other people to do it as well. So
there's that irrational fear, isn't it? I think everyone's got that fear that, is AI going to take my job?
Yeah,
that's true.
I think that's, I hear it all the time across the apprenticeship sector, and I've interviewed apprentices and they said, I don't know why I'm doing this because it might be redundant in 2 years' time, and especially in the digital sector. Whereas our automotive apprentices seem really secure because they're fixing trucks, so they're happy. They know they've got a job for life. So I suppose it can be quite scary when you hear the word AI, but it sounds like to me, in your business, you're using it to actually better and support rather than use it to replace people. It's
not going to, I don't think it's going to take over all the training, because there is still training that you need to do hands-on. But if this and creating content can free us up, then we're still going to have a job, because we've still got the other face-to-face and hands-on training that we can still do. It's just getting that nice balance, isn't it?
And you're one of 5 that are on the course, but have you started cascading your learnings throughout the whole team? You said there's 30 people in that team, potentially.
Roughly. It's quite a large training delivery team, isn't it?
It is, yes. And we all work quite closely together, so we're always in contact. And at the moment we are updating some of our training, so it is a case of the stuff I've learned, if it's useful, then I can pass it down to the other trainers as well. And we like to do that, with most things. We keep it together, we help each other out, because it does work well that way. Yeah,
but and Mandy, obviously you've been part of the transition onto this platform and making sure that it is to where it needs to be in terms of implementation and the impact of apprenticeships. What was the teething pains like? Did you have any teething pains to make sure that they are getting the right training and people are using the platform properly?
No, I've not come across any.
Yeah,
No.
that's always good to hear.
Yeah.
Is that?
I can't say any other really.
Do you feel like you've put things in place from previous learnings that to make sure that things are correctly rolled out? Because I think sometimes, especially when you launch a new program, obviously you're not having them problems, but sometimes people might have a bit of an issue with launching a new program, teething pains. But the fact that you've said there's none, that's really positive.
Yeah, we have learnt from previous experience, obviously with it being digital and accessing platforms. Obviously we have a high security obviously within IT, so we're blocked from using a lot of sites. So we kind of did establish that at the beginning, and there was no teething problems. They was able to have access to the platforms that they needed. So yeah, we kind of learnt from past experience where we made sure that they could have access before obviously they were enrolled onto programme.
Yeah, great. I think prior learnings are always good. We often, again, being in education, have security issues as well. So making sure that things are doubly locked down and we're doing the right procedures and stuff, especially when working in digital spaces with platforms. We've just enrolled something that we do for external hires called Your Future, and again, integrating that system into ours, you need to make sure that the firewalls are working properly. So I understand full well what you mean with that. So I think we touched on it previously. You mentioned it briefly, Julie. Diversity of apprenticeships and accessibility of apprenticeships. I guess when was your last kind of experience of learnings or kind of formal education, and what's it like now? Did you have to adapt yourself to new learning styles, I suppose?
Oh yeah, the maths and English. Wow. It's been a long time, let's just say, a long time since I did maths and English. So to be thrown back into doing the skills tests at the beginning of it was very mind-blowing. I did get there in the end, and it's amazing just how much you do remember from those many years ago when you actually did it. But
it's something that puts me off a little bit. I would be probably scared to do the maths and English side again. And I guess that's probably a hesitation from a lot of people. And I know when I've spoke to, again, older learners, they're scared to go back into that. And I think the government has done a great thing in some aspects of removing making it optional. In some cases, there could still be some more work done around it. I know our CEO is still lobbying for some reform in that sector. But I think because they've made it optional, it has made it more accessible for people. Do you think that would be a barrier for yourself, Julie, initially, or?
It was the unknown of what would I have to do with maths and English, and you sort of sit and think, it's been that many years since I've done maths and English formally, and in those years I've learnt to use technology to my best advantage, especially with English. Because there are so many little tools out there, spell check, grammar check, things like that. But it does sort of bring back and think, all right, okay, yes, I still do know how to do this without technology, because I do think you do need that, don't you? We do rely on a lot of technology, but it's good to be able to do it anyway. So scary sometimes.
No, I completely agree with you on that one. And Mandy, from your perspective, you've obviously got quite a broad range of people from young to old on the apprenticeship programs and completing training. How do you make sure that people are equipped with the right tools to succeed through the program?
That's down to the training provider, really. I mean, obviously they do a robust skills assessment before they even enrol them onto the apprenticeship, but they also do a cognitive assessment as well. So they're checking on their ability there, and depending obviously on the outcome of that, do they need further support before they embark on that journey of an apprenticeship? Upskilling themselves. They have access to the BKSB site, so we tend to advise, if they've scored really low, shall we say, that they go on there and kind of build themselves up before they have the pressure of the apprenticeship and the pressure of the maths and English side of it as well.
Yeah, great. So I'm going to touch on Nourish, which is the platform. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
So how is it being utilised? I know we touched on it briefly in terms of the content you're creating, but what is the real impact of that? Are we seeing that across the business?
Yeah, I mean, it's been obviously a massive change for everybody. I think that it's the fear of the unknown again, isn't it? You know, from pen and paper to going digital, but it has had a real massive positive impact. We're seeing that come through. I'm sure you get much more feedback than I do, because obviously you're more in the services, aren't you?
Teaching the staff face to face, so some of it I do bring up Nourish, because as trainers we need to know that they know how to complete paperwork, and it has been very positive. Even some of the staff that have been very scared of going digital, they've like, I got it explained to me and it's great. I get to spend more time with the people that we're supporting. So they're getting the benefit of this, the people that we support.
So is the goal to be 100% digital at some point?
Yes, we're not far off from that. I think, we've got over 600 services and there's 500 plus transitioned onto the platform. So I'm sure by the end of the year, we'll be fully digital.
I've seen a great slogan: keep it green, keep it on the screen, keep it green, or something like that. And I thought it was great. It's just one way to look at it, I suppose.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Definitely.
So let's touch. I'd mentioned it briefly. I want to mention the top 50 apprenticeship provider. So congratulations on that. An improvement on last year. So what goes into making that improvement from obviously top 100, top 50 now? How do you make sure year on year you're continuously improving on your programs to keep going? I'm sure you want to aim for the top 10 one day.
Oh yes, we've not stopped there. Obviously we're aiming higher every year. I think it's all about, being a diverse company really. You offer the apprenticeships to everybody, not just a particular group of people. So, we have, from 16-year-olds up to whatever age, so the availability is there for everybody. But, to help us gain that top 50 was the reviews really from the apprentices themselves. Yeah. So either they've completed or they're currently on, and the reviews are just absolutely fantastic. What they're getting out of the programme, how it's helping them grow, and how much they love working for Voyage Care, because that's one of the questions on there. So that's really helped us with our ratings. But it's investing in our colleagues, and letting them know what's on offer to them really.
And what did it mean to you? How did it feel to know that you're getting better year on year and you're hearing these success stories from people? It must feel great from your perspective, because you're hearing real positive impact within the business. Yeah.
It's absolutely brilliant. I was made up. I was obviously watching it live, and when you're thinking it's counting down, I'm thinking, oh, we've not done it, and then you hear your company's name, and brilliant. And it just it's just you're making a difference to people's lives. Not just the people that we're supporting, but it's our colleagues as well, and that's what we're all about, really.
Yeah, and I think that's so important. It is that wider impact, and I think sometimes when we look at training, and especially when you've got a levy pot to spend, and there's sometimes pressure from people above saying, well, we actually need to spend this levy, they're saying you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
But the fact that you are having this real impact, and it's kind of a positive spin. I think we look at the apprenticeship levy, and it's a bit doom and gloom sometimes, thinking we've got all this money going out and we're not seeing any benefit. But then when you do look at it and think, actually, we've spent it on training, we've improved our people, we've improved our business, and you see that passive reward of it, I think it is quite nice. And I can see you getting really emotional about how actually proud you are of it. Yeah. And that's really nice to hear that perspective. So I guess what is the impact of that? Are you seeing more buy-in from people above saying, actually, let's invest more in apprenticeships, let's invest more in training?
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely been more noise, shall we say, about apprenticeships and people that are achieving. We're shouting about it on social media. We've got our intranet where good news stories are going on there from, our colleagues that have completed an apprenticeship. And I think at a higher level, they're kind of understanding the apprenticeship world more, because you kind of just get left to do that and manage that. But it's definitely getting more recognised, and the buy-in from obviously senior management is very important.
Yeah. And Julie, so what did you know about apprenticeships and training at Voyage before you actually enrolled? What was kind of your journey with
I did have a little bit of an understanding. I've been with Voyage for over 10 years now, and I used to work for a part of it called Voyage Specialist Healthcare. So there was apprenticeships that started there. So I actually signed some people up for apprenticeships within the training department. So I knew a little bit about the Voyage, but I'd never actually done one myself.
Yeah.
So this opportunity came up, and it's to keep improving yourself, you know, and it's looking for something that is going to help you to do your job to a better standard. So this came up, and it was a case of, yeah, I'd like to do that, because it's going to teach me more about digital technology, and at the same time it's going to help the company as well. So it's a nice, I've seen people start the journey, and I've seen them go through it and complete and be really proud of what they've achieved. So I thought, yeah, now my turn, let me have a go.
Yeah, that must be really nice. I suppose seeing them on their journey and supporting them on their journey, and then you thinking, my time to shine now, and I'm going to do one.
Yeah.
So what support do you get from your line manager now, let's say?
Lee's very supportive. He was on a meeting with us on Wednesday when I met my tutor, so he's there if I need to ask any questions. He's always checking in with me, making sure that nothing's getting too much, that I've got enough time to do my apprenticeship, as well as what the other work that I've got to do as well. So, but as well as his support, I've got the rest of the support from the training team as well. And it's nice that I've got 4 other people as well. We can bounce ideas off and have a chat about it, and just touch base and see how everybody's doing as well.
Yeah, it's nice having. I hear a lot of that camaraderie that comes from cohorts where, you know, we did a David Lloyd podcast in June, I believe it was, and they were talking about they've had cohorts that are still in touch now 3 years later on a WhatsApp group, all talking to each other, communicating, sharing ideas around their clubs. And I think that's really nice. You kind of build a friendship, even though you might have had a rapport and a relationship with them already. It's kind of, you're all in it together, I suppose, aren't you? You're learning, you're going through this new journey.
And it's a journey we can help each other with as well.
Yeah.
So we do have the tasks going on every month, and it's just nice to sort of touch base and say, right, this is what I've got from this, what have you got? And you can sort of share and make sure you're along the right track of doing what you need to be doing. Yeah. So it's nice to have that. We've got a good team anyway, but to be able to bounce off and just answer questions and help each other, it's great.
Yeah. And on that, Mandy, what was the decision to take 5 on a new programme? Because obviously some people might start small, might do 1s or 2s, but 5, is it going to be 5 every year, do you hoping? How are you hoping it will grow in the future?
We kind of didn't have numbers in mind, to be fair. We kind of just obviously sourced this apprenticeship and then opened it up to the team, really, you know, who was interested in completing it. And obviously the 5 that came forward really wanted to do it. So there was no restrictions on numbers, or, you know, there was no minimum or maximum. It was just, this is an option for you. Do you want to do it, basically? Yeah.
So I suppose now, Julie, your job is to really sell it to the other 30, right? Is say, guys, this is great, come and do it. And do you feel like, not that it's going to make you better than anyone else within the business, I suppose, but do you feel like it is really going to help you on your day-to-day? Is it going to make your life easier? You've talked about learnings you've had already. Are you hoping that, well, actually everyone should be doing this because it is benefit, it's going to make us much more better as a business, I suppose?
It would be nice if everybody did do it. It really would. But obviously some people, time and constraints and other programs that they've got going on, they can't all do it. So, but yeah, I'm hoping this can help me, and if my enthusiasm and what I say about it encourages other trainers to go on it, then that'd be great. It would be great, because then they're getting the benefit of all the knowledge that I'm going to be learning along the way as well. We
were having a chat this morning, weren't we, about obviously what you've recently learned about the different shortcuts on Excel, and what was the other one?
It was Google Sheets.
That's it, Google Sheets. Yeah. So already you've, I suppose, saving time, aren't you, with the shortcuts and what it can do.
And it's so much I didn't even realise, because I just it's self-taught what I've got up to now.
Yeah.
So now to actually get some training on how to use them, and I do use both Excel and Google Sheets, and it's a case of, oh my God, I didn't realise it could do that. That's going to save me so much time. So it's just nice to figure stuff out.
I'm always very envious of our people in finance. If I've ever got a question of how to use Excel, I can see them push a few shortcuts and do something instantly, and I'm like, that would have took me half an hour. So I can understand why that would be. Maybe I should do a content creator apprenticeship.
You don't just learn about spreadsheets.
And I suppose what have you learning? So for someone that's maybe watching this within the business or someone external out of the business, when I think content creator, I feel like that's something I do today. I pick up a camera, I create content for people.
Yeah.
I would never think, actually, as a content creator, I need to know how to use a spreadsheet. So from anyone that is possibly watching this right now, what are you actually learning? What is your takeaways from the course so far?
I am really new on the journey, so it's obviously the spreadsheets are good for collecting the data, because when you're creating content, you need to know that it's reaching the right people and who it's reaching. So you're getting all these demographics of the different people that you're touching, age, what they work, where they work, how much they earn, and all the rest of it. And you've got to sort of take that information, you use the spreadsheets to collate it all, and then you can think, right, okay, this is my target audience. How can I change my content to make it more accessible for them? And just little tweaks in tone of voice and the language you use can change it from one person to reach another person. So that's what I've learned up to now. Still a big learning curve.
Yeah, but them small tweaks, and I know from when we create stuff for socials and we create other kind of collateral material, them small tweaks for accessibility are so important.
Yeah.
Even when we look at web design, making sure there's a dark mode feature for people and certain sizing and spacing on text, all them changes make a massive impact on the reader. And I suppose when you're working with such a large business like yourselves and you've got such a broad demographic, them small tweaks will make people's lives so much better.
Yeah, definitely.
That's great that you're learning them small things now from day one, because that is ultimately going to be things that you take away and utilise the rest of your programme.
Yeah, they're the foundation blocks, aren't they? You get them right and then you can just build on it as you go.
Yeah, brilliant. No, that's really good. From your perspective, Mandy, data is massive, and I'm sure you're a data-rich industry within care. How are you making sure that you're training the people to use data? Julie's mentioned it very briefly, using spreadsheets and stuff. How are you training people to make sure they're using data effectively and getting the most out of the data within the business?
So we have a separate, obviously, training team as well. So we have systems trainers who train on our systems that we've got. So our LMS stores all our training stats, really, for an example. And obviously there's various reports that can be pulled from there to check your data, especially for like CQC inspections and things like that. So training's key, guidance documents. Our colleagues have got the knowledge and expertise to be able to access these reports and pull the data that they need. So it's all about making sure that they're aware and they know how to, basically.
Yeah. So Mandy, you mentioned successes and people's testimonials as to why really that helped to make you in the top 50 apprenticeship providers. What are some of them success stories? Can you share some with us?
Yeah.
I'll put you on the spot now.
You have. I think it's what they've got out of the apprenticeship, what they've learnt, what impact it's made. Some that stand out to me is the confidence that they've gained. People have started obviously doing the apprenticeship, not very confident, not necessarily within the role, but not very confident in certain aspects, I suppose. So I think it's just, and the sense of achievement that they feel that when they've started the apprenticeship, I'm not going to be able to do this. I can't do it. I haven't got the skills to be able to do it. And then they get to the end and they've achieved it, and they've even achieved the maths and English, which they thought in a million years they wouldn't achieve. And they've got to the end and they've achieved it. So I think to me it's that bit that stands out more than anything, really. But it's also supporting them, like I said before, on their learning journey. So they don't want to just stop at level 2. And they've got a learning journey, career aspirations in their head where they want to be. I think it's the fact that we're supporting and offering that service, I suppose, for them to be able to achieve that.
So do you build kind of the pathway of, you know, you can do level 2, then a level 3, or level 3, then a level 5? You build that kind of pathway into people's long-term career journey, and I suppose is that helping you with retention as well?
Yeah, definitely. It's not necessarily do the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5.
Yeah.
It's obviously obviously they're all individuals, and it's all based on their skills. So obviously, recognised prior learnings always comes into it, and it just depends, I suppose, what their job role is, their duties, what they've learnt previously as to where they need to start from, really. But, you know, it's obviously they know that they've got that journey and that option if they want to, you know, to carry on, really.
And Julie, what was your mindset when enrolling onto the program? Did you think long term this will help you with your career, or do you just want to gain new knowledge and skills that would help you make your job easier?
Long-term goals, I didn't really think about moving up the chain, so to speak. It was more to make my job easier and to give me more knowledge to do my job better. I do like where I am as an internal trainer, but yeah, it was to improve my skills and just to get more ideas about the digital technology and how to use it to the best advantage.
And I suppose you've only just started, but
Yeah.
what is next for you after this, do you think? Do you think you'll continue training, or maybe take a gap after this? And
apprenticeship-wise, I think let's get this one done, dusted. I am just at the beginning of it, so I need to get. I think this is going to be my focus for the time being with my personal training. And from there, it will be then a case of see what I can do next that's going to have a benefit to the company. I do like my training role, so it's anything that I can do that's going to improve that and improve the way I teach and how we get information to the staff members, our colleagues. That's anything I can do to help that is going to be the best.
Brilliant. And really, I should have probably asked this earlier. Mandy, I know you touched on it briefly, but what are the challenges you have with how many different apprenticeship programs do you have within the business? Is it quite a large number?
Yeah, it is really. I mean, we're kind of heavily focused on our operational team, but we've started branching out to support group support, which is our head office, but we're group support. I don't know really. I can't. Probably 20.
Yeah.
Maybe because obviously we have the higher degree apprenticeships as well, you know, for our senior team.
And what's the challenges of having such a broad spectrum of apprenticeships in the program, in the business, and how do you make sure they are the right ones when selecting them for the business?
Yeah, we do have challenges because obviously we have support workers that want to do a level 5 or a 6 or a 7, and which is great, that's fantastic, but we all know that you obviously have to be within that role to be able to embark on the apprenticeship, to be able to get the evidence and things like that. So it's all about managing that process. We have an application process that comes to me and my admin lady, Erin, and we obviously vet all the applicants that come through, you know, and if we know that they're not suitable for that apprenticeship, then obviously we go back to them and explain why and offer them alternatives. But then it all comes down to the skills assessment as well. Sometimes we do get people, colleagues that apply for maybe a higher level, and sometimes I put that onto the training provider, because sometimes I think that's not up to me to say that you can't do that, because they may have them additional duties. That enables them to complete that apprenticeship. So then that's where the robust skills assessment comes in. So we know that the right people are on the right programs, basically.
Yeah, great. And I'm from Remit training, as you know. What can training providers do to better support you as a business? Is there anything we could do more of to make sure that we are getting the best out of your colleagues, getting the best out of the programs?
I don't think so at the moment. I think we're working really well with the training providers that we're working with. I think once you get to know Voyage Care and how we work and what we need, then it is easy. We've had teething problems in the past. obviously we're, you know, a health and social care provider, so our service managers and support workers, their priority is the people that we support, so they can't always just drop things at the last minute and, you know, sign some paperwork, shall we say. So I think it's just all that communication piece into it, how we work and you support in that really. And I think we're there, to be honest.
Great. And as you mentioned, you know, 500 plus hubs, how do you make sure that people are given the opportunities across the business to develop themselves? Because I'm sure that's quite challenging, being quite spread out, not in a central hub. How do you make sure that the opportunities are available and known to people? Because I'm sure that's been quite difficult.
Yeah, I've recently developed our learning and development page on our intranet, which is called Hive. So all the information about all the different apprenticeships that we've got access to are on there. You know, a little bit about the learning journey, what to expect. There's a guide on there. There's the good news stories on there, so people, you know, can go on there and think, oh, so one of my colleagues has done that, like from a, you know, a different service and what they've got out of it. So all that information's on there. But you know, training providers that we work with are really good as well. They're going out, they're doing workshops, they're doing open days. There's so much information out there at the moment. You know, we're looking at all services across the business because we only deliver to a certain percentage at the moment. So we're looking at the services that we're not. Is it because they're not aware?
Yeah.
Or that, you know, they don't know what's on offer. So the bigger piece of work going on at the moment with the training providers to make sure we're reaching absolutely everybody out there.
I suppose, is that a long-term ambition for you? Would you like that every kind of nook and cranny within the business has training and opportunity for development?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Yeah, it sounds like you are doing great with, you know, Hive sounds brilliant. The fact that people can go there and see all the good news stories, and Julie, hopefully your good news stories going to be there one day.
Julie's will be added on there.
I will get there.
And I look forward to following your journey, Julie, throughout your programme, because it sounds like you're doing a brilliant job so far. And Mandy, continue supporting how you are. It sounds like you've got a brilliant programme.
There's always a question that comes up, and I'm a big advocate for Hive. And I was like, have you explored Hive? You can do this. Go to here, go to there. And because I've come through, so when I started at VSH, I was a coordinator. Then I went to recruitment and training. And because I had the people within VSH, it's a case of, well, you don't just need to do this. You can do this, you can do that. So it's encouraging people to sort of get onto Hive and look what there is available. So yeah, I'm a big advocate for pointing people in the right direction and saying, go do this, go do that.
And it's nice that you can do that now, because there was nowhere before, was there?
Yeah, that was it. I was stuck. There was nothing else that I could do. Yes, I did my level 4 teaching and assessing. So I've got my teacher training qualification, but yeah, this is new. This is like, yes, I can do this. And then when I'm doing PowerPoints and doing training, I've got this to fall back on as well.
Yeah, I think it's nice when you find people that are actually passionate about developing themselves and doing the training, because often people just slip into training or because they need it for that next progression in their career. But the fact that you actually want to do it to better yourself will make sure that, you know, you're more successful in your apprenticeship. You'll get that higher grade because you actually care about what you're doing, instead of just doing it for ticking a box, I suppose.
And I mean, I've been in care for very many years, and I think this is the best company I've worked for. For the opportunities and progression and everything like that, and also the team as well, group support. The team, we've got a group support as well as the team that I work with. It's and I love the staff that I teach as well, because I'm predominantly in the northeast. I do look at the same services quite a lot of times, so you get to know them, you get to know the managers, you've got the relationships that you build up with them, and if I've got questions for them, they'll answer them, and if they've got any questions or they want to sneak people onto training, they'll come to me and say, Julie. And it's just those nice relationships that you built up. I do think it's a really good company to work for.
Do you think it helps you being in training that you're actually getting trained now? Does that make sense? Does it help that you deliver day in, day out anyway? So you're kind of...
And it's going to help, because now if anybody else is looking at an apprenticeship, I can turn around and say, right, okay, been there, done this, let me guide you. It's going to seem daunting, but don't be daunted. Have a bit of faith in yourself and your training, your tutor, and they will help you through this, and it's just going to keep increasing their confidence.
Yeah, the word training was always kind of a bit stagnant for me. So I think the first introduction to training for me was like a 2-day manual handling course. So it's like death by PowerPoint.
Yeah.
And then really I wasn't doing much lifting anyway, I was like moving a box, but because I moved a box that was very lightweight, they have to put you on a 2-day course. So I suppose what is the learnings from the course? What is the style of learning, I suppose? And you come from a training background, how are you engaging with the learning that you're getting from the course?
What, the course that I'm doing now?
Yeah.
It's obviously there's a lot of research that I've got to do, and then I've actually got to do physical things on the computer and make things and design things, but there's still the interaction, so it's talking and it's sharing what I've done, and then getting pointed in the direction of different sites that I can look at.
Mm-hmm.
So there's more for me to do. It's not just reading things, it's actually, right, this is it, go on and play, you know, and I like doing that. It's not, I'm a bit like you, death by PowerPoint. It's like, yeah, right, okay, make things interesting.
Yeah.
And hopefully from this, I can then take that to the training, because there's nothing worse, because you can see yourself losing people when it's death by PowerPoint. So it's about putting activities in, it's getting them to do things so that you can get people engaged. Because the more you can engage them, and even if it's just to give them a little bit of a giggle, the more they're going to remember. So it's, yeah, that's how I like to look at it, and hopefully that's how I'm going to get through this apprenticeship as well.
Thank you for joining us today, guys. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.